I'm Kelsey Timmerman, an all-American guy with a wife, a mortgage, a baby, and an all-American wardrobe, right? Not exactly. My t-shirt was made in Honduras. My all-American Levi's blue jeans were made in Cambodia. My Jingle-D's Christmas boxers were made in Bangladesh. They don't celebrate Christmas a whole lot. And my flip-flops were made in China. I looked at the tag on my clothes and I realized I couldn't place some of these countries on a map. And I definitely didn't know what life was like for the people who made them. So I decided there was only one way I was going to find out. So I went on a global quest to meet the people who made my clothes. In Bangladesh, I went undercover as an underwear buyer. In Cambodia, I befriended 8 girls who share a room, 12 foot by 8 foot in dimension. In China, I met a couple who haven't seen their son in 3 years and work over 100 hours in a week. Where am I wearing? This isn't so much a question about geography and clothes, but about the people who make our clothes and the texture of their lives. It's about the way we live and the way they live. Because when it comes to clothing, others make it, and we have it made. All right, so I have a kind of an awkward question. I want your honesty on this one. Who wants to see my underwear? Anybody? Guy in the back's really scaring me. All right, these are my Jingle-D's Christmas boxers. I brought them along. They're kind of stretched out a little bit. Kind of look like a weight loss commercial at this point in time, you know? This is me before the Subway diet. Now this is me now. But so these were the item that was made in Bangladesh. I followed back. I met a single mom who made $24 per month. Who thinks that's enough to live on in Bangladesh? Anyone? Rice costs $15 per month. You know, it's just, it's not enough to live on. And when I was in Bangladesh, I went undercover as an underwear buyer. And then I wrote a book. So I have a question for you all. Where are you guys wearing? Anyone know without looking right now? 3% of our clothes are still made in the United States. I know that really probably doesn't surprise any of you because you guys have a pretty rich textile history here. Can you place that country on a map, wherever your shirt was made? Can you? Because there's not a lot of hands went up. Can you place it on a map? Anyone have any idea where Bangladesh is? What's life like for the people who make your shirt, make our clothes? Any ideas? I wish that this is how deep my questions were when I set out on this adventure, but it was basically I was looking for that next place to go, and I thought, I had this shirt, it said, "Come with me, my tropical paradise," and I checked the tag, it said, "Made in Honduras." That's where I'm going. My thought was more like, dude, I'm going to Honduras, more than it was like, I am going to explore my position in the global economy. It really wasn't that to begin with at all. It really bugged me that I had no idea what life was like for the people who made them. So that's when I went to Bangladesh, where my Jingle-D's Christmas boxes were made. I went to Cambodia, where my all-American Levi's blue jeans were made. Went to China, where my flip-flops were made. 85% of our shoes, most of our shoes here today, are made from this one small region of China. In Cambodia, I met a room full of girls that live in a room 8 foot by 12 foot in dimension. And they work at the nearby factory that makes Levi's. Now, there's no such thing as a Levi's factory anymore. They just design and market blue jeans. There's a blue jean factory, and that's where Levi's buys their jeans from. But these girls, they make Levi's and other jeans that this factory produces. They lived 8 girls in an 8 foot by 12 foot room. 4 of the girls slept on a bamboo bed, and 4 of the girls slept on the concrete floor. These girls, on average, support 6 or 7 people back home in their villages. So they're roughly your age, you know, late teens, early 20s. At the age of 26 in Cambodia, you are a washed-up garment worker. So you better get in your garment working years now because you don't have many left. You know, this is their world. They earn $50 per month, which is enough for one person. Like I said, they support on average 6 or 7 people back home in their villages. And in China, I met a couple who they earn $150 per month apiece, which was way more than anywhere else I went. And I was surprised. Like, all of our stuff's made in China. I thought this was the bottom. I thought that the price of labor would be the cheapest in China. But it turns out they got paid more. It's like, what gives? Well, I learned that the workers worked sometimes more than 100 hours per week in China at this shoe factory. So I got back from this trip, and I wrote about the experience. But the experience really changed me in a lot of ways. The way I buy clothes. The garment industry can be part of the solution, though. The shoes I'm wearing right now are made in Ethiopia by a company called Soul Rebels. They pay the workers there a living wage, which is 3 times more than most other workers get in Ethiopia. Those workers' kids get sent to school. Like this one job, look how many lives it can change. You take that out a few generations. So I look for companies like that have a good story, that actually provide good opportunities. And Amilcar had looked at his life as a t-shirt factory where he was making roughly $150 a month. And he saw that wasn't enough to provide he had 2 daughters at the time, and he has a mom who's sick and needs medication. It wasn't enough to provide for them. So he risked his life. He hiked illegally into Mexico, rode on top of trains, and rode north to the United States. He went to the place where his t-shirts that he would make are sold. And I just think that says a lot about how much of an opportunity this actually is. Everyone I met that was able to get back in touch with from my trip when did the Wear My Wearing trip in 2007, none of them work as garment workers anymore. Has their lives improved? It's tough, not necessarily. It's been a tough few years since I visited them. The financial crisis, we stopped buying so much stuff. Millions of workers around the world lost their jobs. But then this is our role in the global economy, just to be consumers. That's kind of ugly to think about. So I try to wear a story. I try to support companies that are more transparent, companies that the jobs are actually good opportunities. That's one way I've changed. But also I saw the community that existed in these places. I saw a wealth of community in some of the poorest places on our planet. And then I came back to my home in Muncie, Indiana, and I saw a poverty of community. And I saw in Honduras and in Guatemala and in Uganda, all the places I've traveled, the people who make biggest difference in someone's lives, it's when it's a local helping a local, a Bangladeshi helping a Bangladeshi. And that really made me step up to want to be a local in my hometown in Muncie, Indiana. So I became a big brother, big brothers and big sisters. I started to volunteer with an organization that helps people who are living in poverty, matches up one person who's living in poverty with 3 other community members, and helps brainstorm a path out of poverty. Just became a much better local. So you all are local. Who's not from this area? So I encourage you to go local, volunteer. Also travel. You guys have a study abroad program here at all? Man, get out there and see the world. You learn so much more about your own community, about yourself when you travel. When you guys graduate from here, you'll be more educated than 93% of the rest of the world. I think that comes with some responsibility. No matter what you do, no matter what your passion is, no matter what your skill is, you can use that in a way to give back locally, to give back globally.